close it all the way. Just close it. Reactiverse. Welcome. Everybody, welcome. Wipe your feet when you in around the scenes of greatness. This is Mr. Come See By Me. I'm back with reaction videos. You understand what I'm saying? There's some stuff that's been going on. They done messed around in 5 days. They've been opening up doors and portals. People been seeing all kind of strange stuff. They've been seeing predator-like aliens in the trees and it's breaking branches. All kinds of stuff is unveiling. They got drones flying around. New Jersey, they got shit that's out there that we didn't even know it was out there, but now it's out there. So beware what's out there. Hey, all I can tell you is welcome to the Reactiverse. And over here, we're going to show these videos. And we just going to put them out there. And we're going to watch them together. And then we're going to go from there, whatever happened from there. You understand what I'm saying, y'all? Hope y'all having or whatever you call this. And you are good and you're flourishing and you're making progress. You ain't following nobody. You ain't sitting up there hating on the person that you're following and all of the other. Man, you just up there loving life and how you figured it out it is to be. It ain't nobody here to make you feel like you need to think some type of way. You just here. And you don't accept. See, we don't accept what they done told us. That's what we don't do over here. We don't accept what somebody told us. We go look it out and we go find out if that's real or not. But I ain't gonna hold y'all. I ain't gonna hold you. I'm gonna get to these videos. And we're going to let this for entertainment purposes only. Here we go.
Something is going on at the White House. JB and KH was called back to the White House for an emergency this morning at 12 a.m. December 20th. What is going on, guys? Is something big about to happen? Who knows? Let's not forget what's going to happen on Christmas Eve. I can't even say it. What type of emergency can this be, guys? This is ridiculous. I hope everything is okay. They were on their way to see their family for the holidays and got called back to the White House. I don't know, guys. I just don't know. Let's just hope that everything is okay. Comment below, guys. Let me know what you think is happening, because I have no clue. TikTok, this is for entertainment purposes only. I'm just letting everybody know that they were called back to the White House for whatever reason. And whatever that reason is, I have no idea. I don't know what's going on, guys. Get ready. 2025 is coming real fast. I gotta go.
I don't know what's going on either.
We have some big breaking news about the drones that have taken the country by storm. The
is coming fast, just like that video that's trying to seep up out of there is coming fast. It's coming fast, and they got called back to the White House. Ain't no telling what they got called back to the White House, but they're not going to tell us anyway. They're going to tell us when it's too late and then show up on vision. Oh, I'm just playing. Let's get back to the video.
FBI has released a statement saying that it has identified more than 5,000 tips regarding the mysterious drones, and it says that there is no threat to anyone in the American public. So the 5,000 or so tips led to about 100 leads that the FBI pursued. They said that a number of the tips included actual aircraft and not drones, but there were a number of commercially lawful drones. That none of their investigation led to any threat or harm to the public. Now, despite the FBI's new statement that was released, we still want answers, right? The federal government has not given answers about where these drones have originated or anything. And a number of leaders on the state and local level are still calling on the federal government to provide answers, whether in New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, or elsewhere. Now, we don't know what the drones are being caused by. We know what the FBI statement says, and that there's no threat to the American public. Obviously, some local leaders are not necessarily agreeing with the FBI, but it's only time will tell. Below your thoughts, spread the word, and follow along to stay up to date on all the news you need to know about.
How many of y'all is following this here thing anyway? Following them drones,
for $15 an hour, and you were.
Hold up, give you a chance. I'm gonna give you a chance. But right now, we got to talk about those little drones that we just got through seeing flying around. You know what I'm saying? There's some stuff out there, man, that's happening, and it ain't never happened to us before. Because back in the day, we ain't had no drones. You understand what I'm saying? But they did have the drones, but they just didn't expose it to us like they're exposing it to us now. Now we got to watch out for things because they're exposing us to a lot of things that we haven't seen before. So you got to be ready. That's why it's good to have somebody out here that want to pick up some videos that look really interesting and then just put them out there for us to look at and see and evaluate for ourselves. What's good, Mr. Hello J? Appreciate the love, man. Could you go on here and like, subscribe, and share? And let's get more and more people involved in the chat and tell me, have they seen one? Because I'm telling y'all now, where I'm at right now, you check my location. I ain't got to tell you where I saw one. I sure did. I was coming from my baby's little musical, and I seen the thing, and it did exactly how it did on the TV. It ain't shooting nothing. It ain't shooting nothing because I wasn't fast enough to run. I would have got popped. I would have went live right there, holding my ankle. Anyway.
Half your shifts for free because they take 50% of your income. When all you really have to do is walk into the bank with a good credit score and they'll give you some imaginary numbers on a plastic card. Make that make sense.
Things they don't want.
Let me tell you something. I'm going to give you
the secret of the world.
48 years of study. I'm going to give you a secret. Nothing in this world is what you think it is. Nothing operates the way you think it does.
What do you mean?
Nothing operates the way you think it does.
What do you mean?
Government does not work the way you think it does.
It's not about people voting for a president.
No, it has nothing to do with that. We're talking money. We're talking control, corporations, big business, period.
It's all big business and money.
Period.
Yeah.
End of sentence. Now, religion is a corporation. It's all the religions of the Western world, especially in the Western world, all religions operate under maritime admiralty law. So there are certain...
What do you mean maritime admiralty law?
Maritime admiralty is the law of water. And I talk a lot about this in the past. I'm going to talk a lot about it in the future.
Okay.
There are only two things on the earth, on this earth, land and water.
Right.
So there are two kinds of law, the law of the land and the law of water. The law of the land is the custom of the people who live on a particular piece of land. So the law of the land is different in every country.
Right.
I mean, you can do things in Russia you can't do in America.
Right.
You can do things in South Africa you can't do in China because it's the law of the land. That particular piece of land has their own custom. So the custom of the people living on a particular piece of land is called the law of the land.
Okay, got it.
But there is also a larger, far more important law on the earth. It's called the law of the sea, the law of the water. And when you get into, and then that law is referred to in courts as maritime admiralty. Maritime admiralty is the law of water. Once you understand the law of water, it opens up a world of occult hidden symbols and hidden foundations on how we live.
What are some of those laws that we're not aware of?
Oh my goodness! When you walk into a courtroom, why do you go to court? You play basketball on a court. You play tennis on a court.
Right.
Yeah. How do you play tennis on a court? You play with a racket. Come on. And so the judge walks out. He rules from the bench. Right. Look it up in a Latin dictionary. The word bench is a bank in Latin. And so the judge is ruling for the bank. That's why he wears a black robe, because the black robe represents the planet Saturn, the god of banking and law.
Just a little tidbit, just in case y'all didn't know what Saturn represents.
This? This is lab-grown meat that is 3D printed into the shape of a steak. Scientists swear by it, but the controversial part is that not enough testing has been done on it to fully understand its long-term side effects. The meat itself is grown from real animal stem cells that were replicated in a process called culturing. So for all types of meat, from beef to even fish, has been 3D printed. Some are hailing this as the next great revolution that will solve all of the world's problems. But many are understandably skeptical. Growing meat in a lab would eliminate the need to raise and slaughter animals, which in turn lowers our carbon emissions and frees up a lot of land. This type of meat can also be produced on a massive scale and contribute to the end of world hunger. However, this technology is new and unproven. It takes decades of testing to fully understand the unseen side effects of lab-grown meat. And even if it is proven to be healthy, would people be willing to eat it? Remember, we didn't know the harmful effects of cigarettes until centuries after people began smoking them.
You learn. You live to learn.
Lab-grown meat will soon be on the shelves of this grocery store and almost every other grocery store in the United States. 2 companies have now been approved by the FDA to make lab-grown meat and sell it to you and your family, and production has already begun. This is a travesty waiting to happen. Lab-grown meat is not real meat. It's made in cell culture in a lab. It's almost certainly going to cause health issues for humans, autoimmune issues, damage to the gut. All sorts of problems can arise from meat grown in a petri dish. It's going to have an inferior nutrient profile to meat from a cow that has grown eating grass in nature, and it's worse for the environment. Multiple studies have now shown that lab-grown meat is significantly harsher and more damaging to the environment in terms of total carbon footprint and energy costs. So why in the world would you eat lab-grown meat when you could just eat real, nutrient-rich meat like your ancestors have been doing for hundreds of thousands of years? I don't know, but it's coming, and you better believe they're gonna try and convince you that it's better for you and better for the planet, and that is bullshit.
What you think? What you think is better than? I know what.
Trump wins.
I ain't trying to sit here and wait to see what happens to us and to see the side effects of it anyway, because I know it's some side effects. Got to be. They a 3D printed piece of steak, a 3D printed, man, then they got to the point to where them cartoons, they got us delusional. Man, we sitting up here printing meat. I'm looking at my printer right now as I talk to y'all. I wish a hamburger would come out that printer right now. I'm not eating that shit. I don't know about you. Oh, you don't care how hungry you get. Bro, that shit came out of printer. That is not beef. I don't know. You can't call it beef. You cannot call some shit that came out of printer beef. I don't care what 3D my ass. That ain't beef. That ain't even beef.
They will move to disqualify him through Congress, invoke civil war conditions, and tell the Trump hordes that Donald Trump is disqualified and not allowed to be president.
So it's going to be up to us on January 6, 2025 to tell the rampaging Trump mobs that he's disqualified. And then we need bodyguards for everybody and civil war conditions, all because the 9 justices, not all of them, but these justices who have not many cases to look at every year, not that much work to do, a huge staff, great protection, simply do not want to do their job and interpret what the great 14th Amendment means. And I'm glad that Sherilyn's creating her new center so we can bring that back to life, even as we're continuing to amend the Constitution, as Professor Hassan has invited us to do.
What a wild thing to say to a group of people so casually, that we will need bodyguards for everyone, civil war conditions. What he is saying that if Donald Trump...
It does it to me every show.
Be careful, not too much pressure when we're what are you doing? What? I'm sorry, this is Elijah. We saw footage of you leaving your room last night. It seems you have been doing
I didn't even notice this when I watched this show. Where? I didn't even see this until I saw this.
Nothing essential is going to change about who you are. I promise, my friend. They got it wrong in the comics. about secret evil groups trying to stop the heroes. I don't think we are particularly evil, and we don't choose sides. We try to stop both of you. If there is one of you, the opposite of you appears, it escalates. We step in. There just can't be gods amongst us. It's not fair. It has worked just fine for 10,000 years our way. Take consolation in the fact that you were right about your theory. Be at peace.
If you want to get off of work early, take 50 milligrams of zinc.
Ain't that how they do it? That to the last, to our last breath, they take it, and they take it. Somehow they got us into where we got to give it up. Give up the recipe. Give up the recipe to the whole family, and that's it. And then our last breath. Stand up, people, and stop falling for that shit. I'm just saying, man. This for entertainment purposes only. But boy, in that movie, I just caught on what that shit I just saw with my own eyes. They don't want us among us because they don't know they don't want us to know who we are, and you know who you are. They be putting that shit in plain sight. And then they try to play it off as borderline crazy and try to make you think you crazy because that's all you want to pay attention to, or that's all you want to study. You understand what I'm saying? Ain't nothing wrong with that. Because it's better studying this other shit out here. Because y'all the ones that's going to be trapped when it's time to goddamn fight.
On an empty stomach. You will throw up violently in 5 minutes. Unethical life hacks. If you ever rob a bank, make sure to hold your middle finger in front of you the whole time, so the news has to blur your face in the security footage. Would you spin the wheel if it was? 70% chance of $1 million and 30% chance of having to cut your relationship with the second person who appears when you click on share and then select more. To not pay for laundry, look up your building's washer dryer model on eBay and order a key for it. When buying a house, pay a bunch of crackheads to hang around the house on days of viewing to scare off potential buyers. The majority of people don't know that when you hold the comment button, secret emojis pop up. In case you find yourself in a fight, take a look at the UFC illegal moves. They're illegal because they work too well and make too much damage. If you want to get rid of your bad habits without nicotine or vapor, check the link in my bio. When starting a new job, no matter what the reality is, you now have 4 alive grandparents.
Thank me
later.
later.
The God of the Old Testament, the God of Israel, is an evil God that has trapped us here. Jesus came to free us. This is a continuation of my Prison Planet Theories series where we talk about, hey, what do all the major religions say about the prison planet? In the last video, we talked about how the Old Testament God, the God of Israel, his name is Yaldabaoth. He created this world. He wants us to worship him. There is a higher God. And according to many Gnostic teachings, Jesus Christ came to show us how to find that higher God. No more history. Let's dive into some of these teachings. One of the most interesting documents that we have discovered is called the Gospel of Mary Magdalene. And in this gospel, it talks about how Jesus Christ gave her and some other female followers some very specific secret teachings. After the death of Christ, all of the disciples were having a hard time. Peter turned to Mary and asked her to reveal some of these secret teachings. As you can see, most of the documents that we have, there's only a few missing massive portions, and guess what's missing? The secret teachings. But at the end, basically, Peter gets really mad at her, and he's just like, why would he reveal this to a woman? Some of the other disciples stood up for her and said that she was loved more than anybody else by Jesus. Of course, he would tell her this. And then it says they went their way to preach the Gospels. Now, the question is, does that mean they were all in agreement what they were going to preach? Or did some leave to preach their gospel as they understood it, while others left to preach the gospel as they understood it? In the book of Thomas the Contender, it says, for he who has not known himself has known nothing, but he who has known himself has the same time already achieved knowledge about the depth of all. Where do the answers lie? Within. The Gospel of Thomas is another incredibly interesting Gnostic text. It's essentially 114 sayings of Jesus. It's like spark notes of his most important sayings. Now, half of them are exactly the same as written in the Bible. The other half have slight tweaks. It's interesting because verse 70 says, if you bring forth what is within you, you will bring forth what will save you. Other translations say that which is within you will save you. Again, they believe the knowledge is inside of you. You need to tap into it. There's a similar passage in a book called the Dialogue of the Savior. This is another Gnostic text, and it says, "That which you seek after is within you." The Gospel of Mary that we talked about at the beginning also confirms the Son of Man is within you. An interesting thing is in the Gospel of Thomas, so in the Bible, right, it says that faith is like a mustard seed. Well, in the Gospel of Thomas, it's slightly different. The disciples asked him, "Tell us what the kingdom of heaven resembles." And he said unto them, "It resembles the grain of a mustard seed. It's smaller than the other seeds, but if it falls upon plowed terrain, it puts forth enormous foliage, and it's shade for birds in heaven." The difference being, he's not saying faith is like a mustard seed, but he's saying the kingdom is like a mustard seed. What makes this really interesting is it also states that the kingdom of God is within you. So what is the kingdom? So there's lots of sites that will compare the Gospel of Thomas to like the canonical scriptures as we understand them. But so his disciples said unto him, "When will the kingdom come?" Jesus said, "It will not come by waiting for it. It will not be a matter of saying, here it is or there it is. Rather, the kingdom of the Father is spread out upon the earth, and people do not see it." Further, it says the kingdom is inside you, outside you. When you come to know yourselves, then will you be known. Then will you realize it is you who are the sons of the living Father. So essentially, these early Christian Gnostics believed everything is within, right? It's a personal journey. It's turning within. It's about literally implementing the teachings that Jesus taught. One reason why they failed and the Orthodox won was because there was no leadership amongst these Gnostic believers. They didn't believe that you needed bishops or other people because it's a personal journey. You don't need resources because it is within you. One reason why these leaders absolutely hated these so-called heretics is because they did not believe that we were just saved by believing in Jesus alone, but literally we need to implement what he taught. There was a war on these Gnostic beliefs. You were either killed or you had to convert. They went underground. An orthodoxy was established, and we're left with the Bible that we have today. I'm not gonna lie, it is so fun to read these Gnostic texts because, like I said, there are hundreds of texts that were not included. You do have to be careful because there were a lot of people that were trying to lie, to trick, to deceive, but I also do feel there is some inspiration in these. And going back to the theme of the series, you know, the prison planet, are we trapped here? Is our energy being harvested? A lot of people believe that Gnosticism is the basis of this belief, and that the prison planet theory is just like a modern take on this Gnostic belief system. All right, that should cover up like the teachings of Christ and Christianity. Next, we're going to hit up Hinduism. So make sure you're following.
Everything's got a different angle. You just got to catch it at the angle that's comfortable for you. And that's how you hold on and grasp to it. And that's how we take it for life until we wake the fuck up. Because when we wake up, we understand that some of that shit you taught, wait a minute, man, you done put a motherfucking banana in a tailpipe. You done be swindled me. You done got over on me. You understand what I'm saying? And if I would have known better, some of them roads I went on, I wouldn't have went down them. You know what I'm saying? Some of them roads I went down there ignorantly, just because the information was wrong. But now that the information is wrong, it would have been an ignorant move. But anyway, anything that you go through or experience, you got to get taught from that. So, hey, man, the more you get into it, the more you get taught. The more you not get into it, the more you stand still. And if you want to be a standstill, you can be a standstill. And that's fine. I'm telling you, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm not here to persuade nobody to be a jump around, but jumping around, at least you ain't just go for what they told you. You understand what I'm saying? At least you took the time out, even if it take a while, because sometimes it takes us a while. Everybody don't get it that first chance. But eventually you'll get it. Let's continue with these videos, though.
Have you ever wondered about the forbidden chapters of spiritual history? Well, there are dark teachings within the Gnostic Gospels that you're not supposed to see. That's why, in this video, we will peel back the layers of secrecy that have covered the Gnostic Gospels for centuries. These texts were so earth-shaking that they were hidden from the world and labeled dangerous. But what truths were so powerful that they had to be suppressed? And why did the keepers of traditional doctrines fear them? Today, you will open your mind as we expose the hidden teachings that could transform your understanding of spirituality. You will also find out how these teachings can address the spiritual questions that modern religions sometimes leave unanswered. Discovered in 1945 by a local farmer in Nag Hammadi, Egypt, these texts, written on leather-bound codices in Coptic, were not found in the familiar pages of the New Testament. Instead, they offer a radical take on early Christianity, introducing us to a different kind of wisdom known as gnosis, a direct, intuitive knowledge of the divine. Gnosticism, the belief system behind these texts, thrived between the 1st and 3rd centuries. It wasn't a unified group, but a collection of diverse sects sharing the conviction that personal mystical knowledge was the path to salvation. The Gnostics saw our world as a battleground between spiritual enlightenment and material corruption, a dualism that set them apart from mainstream Christian doctrine. Why then were these texts suppressed? Simply put, they presented a spiritual perspective that bypassed the established church, proposing that direct experience of the divine was accessible to anyone. Such ideas threatened to undermine the religious hierarchy and control. Among the texts, we find the Gospel of Thomas, which contains 114 sayings of Jesus, confirming a wisdom that does not conform to traditional narratives. There's no story of birth, life, or crucifixion here, only deep, powerful insights that invite personal interpretation. Each saying, each line from these Gospels is a door to deeper understanding, pushing us to question, reflect, and connect directly with the spiritual truths they reveal. This is not just ancient history. It's a living invitation to explore a more personal and direct path to spiritual enlightenment. As St. Augustine once said, "Seek not to understand that you may believe, but believe that you may understand." Now, the Gnostic Gospels, including those of Mary, Philip, and Judas, present a vision of spirituality that is deeply personal and greatly transformative. The Gospel of Mary, for example, showcases Mary Magdalene not as a follower, but as a central figure who held conversations that pierce the curtain of mere surface faith, emphasizing an inner, spiritual knowledge that aligns with those who seek deeper truths. Similarly, the Gospel of Philip strays from traditional narratives, forming together theological reflections, hymns, and liturgical texts that ponder the sacraments, the divine nature, and the interplay of gender in spiritual domains. This text invites us to view the divine not as a distant figure, but as an intimate presence forged into the very essence of our lives. Turning the familiar on its head, the Gospel of Judas presents the infamous betrayer as an actor in a divine script, suggesting that Judas's role was crucial to a grand, universal plan. This perspective challenges us to reconsider our views on destiny and betrayal, prompting a reflection on the roles we all play in the larger story of life. Gnostic literature serves as a catalogue of universal enigmas, each text a collection of allegorical and symbolic richness. These writings lift the ordinary veil, offering glimpses into higher spiritual dimensions and pressing existential queries. Central to Gnostic thought is the monad, an ineffable deity beyond human understanding, greatly differing with the demiurge of their mythology. This unknowable god emanates lesser divine beings, archons and eons, whose roles in the divine drama remain wrapped in mystery and are integral to the spiritual hierarchy that Gnostic texts attempt to decode. We'll talk more about these mysteries soon enough. But for now, the interplay between evil and suffering in these texts also provokes deep contemplation. Is evil inherent in the material world, or merely a byproduct of ignorance? Gnostic writings suggest that suffering, while seemingly inevitable, may also be a catalyst for spiritual awakening, hinting at a deep purpose behind our earthly struggles. Similar to Eastern philosophies, some Gnostic traditions speak of cosmic cycles and reincarnation, portraying the soul's journey as a cyclical quest rather than a linear progression, full of enigmas that challenge our conventional understanding of time and destiny. The Gospel of Mary beautifully states, "All natures, all formed things, all creatures exist in and with one another, and they will be resolved again into their own roots."
I know it's a lot to swallow, and I know it is, but hey, man, I know it was speaking of wrong and right, and I was thinking of the symbols, especially, it was a program that I was watching that was breaking down the different types of, different ethnics. I don't say ethnics, but different groups of aliens, right? And they were showing the one with the horns, and they were saying what the horns was. They was antennas, really. And it depicts, and in our world, in the Christian world, in this world, you ain't got to be a Christian. It depicts the devil. And I know, and people be interested in, I just want to know all the information it is on whatever it is that they say is out there, just so we can get a definite view of, You know what I'm saying? And then your common sense or your gifts that was given to you, everything that you was born with, now that shit come into play. And you get to pick and decide what that shit is or where it came from. You get what I'm saying? It ain't what somebody told us. You know what I'm saying? Because we went to school and they told us some shit. And then when we got out of school, we followed some shit. Or was in some shit that, you know, and that whole, I don't want to say that for a whole nother show, because I finished school several times. You understand what I'm saying? Junior college and 4-year college. I got all those degrees, and where that shit got me and where I'm at today. I tell you that this. Anyway, man, let's just stay with these videos because I got to stay on. But you can hit me on them Sundays when I make that shit make sense, though. That's what I'm probably talking about, too.
The mysteries of Dionysus. Dionysus is another ancient form of Osiris in Greece. We again meet the divine spark trapped in matter. That's what we are. We're divine sparks trapped in matter. Now, this is what it says here. Zeus is called the demiurge. The demiurge, if anybody has known, comes from the ancient stuff that was dug up in 1945 called Gnosticism. A god that broke away from the main universe, a renegade, and a subordinate being, broke away from the main universe of the higher gods, came down here and made a group of planets, rule over them, made the earth into physical. He just took energy and made it physical. His name is Adalabroth, or they call him the demiurge, which is the subordinate being, which is lower than the higher being, and he ended up thinking he was God, and he said, I am a jealous God, and I shall have no gods before me. Well, even in the Bible is what? A jealous God. So if your God is a jealous God, that is not the true God. That's a subordinate being. You okay? Zeus is this particular demiurge person, and he's attributed to killing an ancient group of people. We'll get into that in a few minutes. Now remember that. Christianity, by it being a mundane, lower religion as far as telling you to pray to people, good behavior, it only initiates you on the lower level. And that's what's happening now. You can't think on a higher level because everything is based on, you know, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not do all of this type of shit. And the 10 Commandments came from the 47 negative confessions out of the book of Coming Forth by Day of Egypt, right? And in Egypt, in the pyramid text, it was not saying that you didn't do all this. This was saying because I am a perfect soul, my soul hadn't done all of this. My physical body can do all this shit because it's an illusion and it's prone for failure because it's created by the damn lower person. But the real soul is trapped inside and it hadn't done all this shit because it's sleep. So, thou shalt not, and I did this, and I have not, in this 47 negative confessions, which is negative, which means they're inside of you, because we're dealing with the negative today. The 47 negative confessions that they're talking about, your soul ain't did shit. You see what I'm saying? Because you are in temporary insanity. You were born in a world, you don't know who the fuck you are, you don't know where the hell you came from, you think you from South.
Got a point there.
In Ohio known as Helltown, and in this place, many people have reported feeling extremely uneasy when coming here. To some people, this isn't surprising, considering the horrifying events that occurred many years ago. Helltown was founded by a group of Native Americans who tragically lost many of its people in a gruesome battle between settlers and colonial troops. A lot of Indians died here, but those who survived had left Helltown in search of another home. Fast forward to present-day Helltown, and people are deeply afraid of coming here alone. Many believe that the land is cursed, given the chain of bad luck that ensued when the settlers moved in. On a certain night, Chris Hill, who you might recall from previous videos, decides to visit Helltown. What he captures on camera is eerie, to say the least. As Chris walks through a dense forest, he finds an old barn house. It's from here on out when things get weird.
The barn of Helltown.
Now, nothing too strange happens here, but when Chris decides to explore beyond the barn, things take a very creepy turn. Watch.
Yeah, this is kind of creepy. It's like a little shack back here. I'm surprised this barn is still standing despite how old it is. What the hell is that? What the fuck? What the fuck is that?
I ain't staying out there to find out what the fuck that was in the first place. You ain't got no business out there when it looked like that. I'm, for one, he went to 2 of them. I wouldn't have went to 0 of them. Thank y'all for checking out the videos and everything and checking me out and see what was going on with these reaction videos. I appreciate y'all, man, and stick with me because I got some more stuff coming out right now. Probably later on. Give me about 30, 45 minutes, 45 minutes, 2 hours. Give me something because I'm supposed to start flooding the streets with nothing but some shit that's happening right here before 24 in. You understand me? Bringing in that 25 with that. All right. Appreciate it.
For me to know we here now, believe it, brokers. I am on my shit, and you know it's true. Ask your bitch, she know it too. Why you think she can live with the crew? I am on my shit. Can you see me? No. Everybody always wanna see me flow. I show stop and seen I'm on this. I am on my shit.
I'm on mine. They know why. She's so shy. I'm so fly. The thought of it open up her eye. The grind in me, she say that's my guy. Pine cone fresh, she asks why. Fresh head to toe, baby girl, you'll be surprised. Boss status, we some wise guys. Super size, baby girl, you're small fry. Do something like that, I'm nothing like that. Oh, Southside nigga, you boss, I'm back. The more you hate it just makes me laugh. Don't be mad at me, you need to be mad at yourself.
Can't stand backstabbers, talk about you and laugh with you. Then they get mad at you when you learn how to deal with them. I'm a heart and I got no patience, ignorance and I'm not gonna take it. Tequila shot and I don't even taste it. Promethazine, expensive tasting. 6 and 8 and I stay betting. Bet the bar, you know I'm drinking. Get it, I'm the drink man. Purple like the Kool-Aid man. Patty cake, I got a baker's hand. Get rid of these grams as fast as I can. Roll it up, put one in the air, man. Open lap the race, always at first, cause that's the place. Don't know what I'm on if that's the case, bitch. I am on my shit, and they see it though. What are the most for me to know? We here now, believe it, bro, cause I am on my shit. And you know it's true. Ask your bitch, she know it too. Why you think she can up with the crew? I am on my shit. Can you see me? No. Everybody always wanna see me flow. I show stop every scene I'm on, cause I